Recording. Hey, good morning. Today's morning is brought to you by coffee. I've got some, and it's great. A friend of mine, this guy, he's having some stem cell therapy today. I want to pray for him because he's a really good guy. This guy, I've shared with you before, I have a theory on birthdays. I think that and I've tested this out limitedly as I can. People's birthdays, if they're the same, I almost want to say that they have the same oversoul. You know, it's a higher dimensionally part of yourself. But if that oversoul is, I think about the planets, think about all the stuff that lines up for your birthday. The soul that's coming to Earth to inhabit the bodies that all are born on the same day. Whether it comes 9 months before or not, whatever's coming from the outside, if you even need to think of it that way, does seem to more connect. This guy's born on one of my son's birthdays on the 12th. The stronger sense that I have about this is because my son that was born on the 12th was born at high noon. Right at noon. What an incredible birthday. You know what I mean? If you think about your soul and all the stuff like that, it's January 12th is not only his birthday, this is three people I know with this birthday. But when I was in high school, one of my best friends was this girl. I used to talk to her on the phone, and I adored her. She was just so beautiful, and I just would go on and on about all the stuff that I thought about, all the crazy stuff. I gave her magic exercise practices and stuff like that, and she did them. She did them and developed in herself to be quite a damn gifted psychic or something like that. It's the day of the wild call. You know, I have a lot of Capricorns in my life. And I love them. I get along with them. I can communicate with them. I know where they're coming from. They don't always like me, but I love them. And sometimes they love me. You know, no big deal. But I really feel there's a cross communication that goes on between people's birthdays. Different people, like I have Red Feather. Red Feather has my birthday. That was sort of my introduction into that idea. I was like, dude, we could be the same person. You know, we have the same basic soul. You know, it's just our circumstances are different. I was born in '79. He was born in the '80s, so he's younger than me. But we could have flipped a coin before we came to see who went where. Years ago, I met him. He came over. I was worried about my dad being freaked out or being a dick to this crazy fucking shaman guy with his crazy shaman gear he had on. I have a picture. I've got to put it in the editing. You've got to see the day that Red Feather met my dad. The look on my dad's face. Because Red Feather was in his fucking element. We're going to eat some mushrooms. We're going to go to the river. We're going to talk to the fucking gods. I don't believe in some pantheon. I believe there's all kinds of other beings. other ways of beings. I think there's spirits and intelligences, fairies, gnomes, trolls. I just listened to a story on The Archivist where it was in Iowa. I think it was in Iowa. In Iowa, they were having. Guy has a pig farm. He's got a fence around the pig farm. The pigs keep ending up missing. Every night, it's like another pig is gone. The fence isn't broke. They don't know what the fuck. So he posts up. This guy posts up and wants to defend his hogs. He's got those big fat hogs, them big 300-pound fucking big ass hogs. This thing comes out of the river, steps over the fence. It's 80 foot long. It sounds like a fucking T-Rex. But, I don't know about T-Rex being a water creature. And, well, this thing had 4 legs. So it wasn't, but it could stand up on its 2 legs because it would stand, it reared up and then stepped over the fence and then ran to the river. But it took one bite and had the fucking hog with the head of the hog out of the mouth of this creature, took off to the river. Well, he goes down there, sets off an alarm. The town has 2,000 people going down because it got in the river and it started going with the current of the river downstream. And the whole town is just shooting at this thing. They never put a hole in it with none of those bullets. They telegraphed up ahead or something. Maybe they phoned. I don't know what time this was. I think it was in the 1800s. And this is some of that stuff where they cataloged it. Well, here's the finish of the story. So they're all coming, but they get their armory battalion to bring a cannon, put railroad spikes in it. They shoot that motherfucker when it gets up about, I don't know, maybe 30 feet away off the bank. They shoot this thing, blood all in the water. They take it out. It kills that. They skin it. They prepared the skin for taxidermy. They were going to have the skeleton wired for display. They didn't send the stuff to the Smithsonian, but they sent it to, it said Philadelphia Museum for something. So the same general area, but all the stuff disappears. This is another place where, and they measured it. They're like, it was 20 feet from the front legs to the end of the head. It had teeth that were 17 fucking inches. They took out the heart. The heart weighed 80 pounds. It had 4 chambers. So it wasn't like your typical reptile because they have 3-chambered hearts, I believe. I may be wrong. Not entirely sure. But it appeared to be a warm-blooded but reptile-like creature. It's sort of where they were going. None of the bullets made it through. It had been fired upon 2,000 times. 2,000 shots in it. Not a single bullet penetrated the hide of this creature. The cannon did. The cannon caught it between the front shoulder and this part of its upper chest. And just blew a hole in it. Fucked it up. Beyond recognition. And no proof. So we don't know. We don't know what's going on. Why are we being lied to? I don't always know. But, for some reason, they don't want certain threads of history to be known. With some of the giant stuff, I understand this because we're dealing with a class of beings that traces their lineage to these giants. They feel like it's them, so they don't want there to be any evidence of that. They do retain some sort of very high psychic powers and stuff. The super soldier occult stuff. But on this day, I want to focusedly send energy, prayer, however you want to think of it. I have the Christ at heart, so I think it's okay. to ask for my friend. His name is Thomas Kinsey. I want just to send him some energy so that his body will respond. Lord, I'm asking you in Christ that his body will respond correctly to the treatment, that he can give glory to you, that he has been healed, and he can live out his life and not die from leukemia. He's a stand up guy. He's always been a good guy. He's a gamer. His life involves around his grandkids, his daughter. He used to be really into the church, but he got his snap, and he saw that the church wasn't. I'm not going to speak for him, but I don't see him as any less of a spiritual person. But I see that he didn't get duped by the mind virus of the church of disempowerment and judgment. I base my faith on what I've taken away from my experience with Christianity, which I got a personal experience with an aspect of myself through a being that did live and come here, who says that he didn't come to do a religion. That's not why he came at all, but he came for a reason to unite us with the knowledge that each one of us is each one of us. I can't hit you or harm you because it harms me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to take from you because it would be taking from me. And I can live by that, and I can believe in that. I can believe in that. I don't have to work it all out. Sometimes I like to. Sometimes that's exciting and fun and makes life worth living. At other time, I like the simplicity, that it's just that simple. The golden rule. Do unto others as you would want to have done to you. We do know that's very difficult in this day and age. There's a lot of demonized people who are fucked up for so many different reasons. I'm a man. I like things that men like. I like women. I like fucking rock and roll music. But I'm not an exile from the community. I have other beliefs. I believe in the power of humanity. I believe in magic. I believe magic is real. I've experienced it. I believe in the reality that there are spiritual beings and intelligences that lie either outside or in non-physical realms that communicate and guide us. I've experienced it. It's not like faith in nothing. It's not like I've just decided to believe something and I don't have any proof of it. I've experienced it. So I'd like to call upon those who can pray, or whatever your thing you do, for my friend, and even to the awareness of the conscious connection that it connects to my son, who I care about, and I would like him to have the same positive experience. I'd like him to have some of the supplemental energy that he's missing from not having his dad. I don't want to get into blaming his mom and all that. It's not necessary to get into all that. It sucks. I have a strained relationship, and he just stopped talking to me because he was worried about me, and his mom told him, "Don't worry about your dad." Well, I think that's the most piss poor advice a parent can give to a child that's looking to them for guidance. Be a hard ass for no reason. Suppress your feelings. Why was he worried about me? Because I was worried about me. You know, Tell that child not to talk to your son, not to talk to his dad at a critical time when that contact, rehaving that contact was really helping my soul. This person believes to tell him not to communicate. and then doesn't even have the nerve to tell me that when I call her to ask him about it with respect. Told me you need to quit blaming everybody for everything. And that led to a whole year of me doing a deep dive and discovering shit that I didn't fucking remember, very small, detailed, nuanced stuff that I didn't connect the dots on. And so I made it work for me, you know. And to be honest, the only thing that really disturbs me with that person is that I couldn't get her to see that why is it necessary to lie? You know, we got into this big fight, you know, some shit went down. But in the course of it, she lied and she tried to smear my name, get me in more trouble, try to misapprehend the whole reason. Why? Why is that necessary? Why is that necessary? You know the real facts. You know for in fact I didn't get arrested at your house, that I had left. You know for a fact that you attacked me first, that I didn't just start going there swinging at you. You know for a fact that I didn't choke you out with no bamboo stick on the landing all dramatically. I had a bamboo stick there. I brought it from up north where I was working. It was on the side of the fucking refrigerator, but I didn't take it out to choke you out. I remember exactly what I did, and got the fuck out of there into my mom's house. But they felt the need to lie, you know? Why, people that need such an edge that they can't stand on their own truth of what they did. What were you doing? What was going on in your life? Why do you have to change a story up? Completely turn it around for some other reason. What is the reason to do that? They protected her dad. They always let him make it. That man killed 7 women. Killed her mom when she was 6 months old. Yeah, it might have been an accident, but it was a stupid, reckless accident. You know what I mean? I had a similar thing going on, and I didn't kill anybody at all. I didn't have a gun. I wasn't trying to fucking attack anybody. That wasn't even going on. But this dumbass who wanted to be such a big man that he had to go and get the gun because somebody was flirting with his wife because he's such a fucking green-eyed monster jealous. Then he's so drunk that he discharges it and ends up shooting his own wife. Didn't even shoot the person that was flirting with his wife. Ends up shooting his wife. I think another woman, he ran over her with his car. And I saw it in the image, and I saw the woman's eye pop out when the fucking car went over her. I don't know if that's real or not, but it felt real. I experienced the scene where I saw the death of the mom, and I believe it was remote viewed and saw because I pictured it before. People tell you stories, and you have a rough imagination of what they are in your mind. You have a rough view of what somebody tells you. If you actually saw the image as it occurred, you would be able to put side by side the different features of your memory alongside the different things that you perceived correctly and that what you applied to it using your imagination or were front loaded by, misunderstanding how it was described. That's one of the ways remote viewing is quite different. Because we all picture things in our head. Well, not all of us. Some people don't even see pictures in their mind of stuff. I do. When I look in my mind and close my mind, I can see the pictures that I'm imagining. And it's an important skill to have. The moral of this story, the point of it, didn't want to get sidetracked. I wanted to send positive energy to this guy. I wanted also to extend to all those other fellows that are connected with January 12th birthdays. I want that to be a strengthening of their body, able to receive healing, transformative life-saving techniques that they have. You know, it's a real high-tech shit that they're going to be doing with the stem cells to try to get his body not to be attacking his blood. And you know, I want that to be a success for him so that it can be a credit to the power that we all call God, the resource for good that we can call upon and answers us, that we of ourself have the ability to draw upon and experience. Have a nice day.